మ్యూట్ చేసి ఓకే.
Namaste everyone, welcome to day 6 of our Navratri Satsang, and the topic is learning from Myths in Ramayana. Today is day 6 and the Tithi is Saptami, and the form of goddess Durga that is being worshipped today is Kalaratri Devi, and the color of the day is red, which stands for passion and anger. Though the form of Kalaratri Devi is terrifying, she is the one who can also bless us with Jnana and Vairagya, that is the knowledge and dispassion. So let us offer our prayers at the feet of Kalaratri Devi to help us with knowledge and dispassion, get dispassion and detachment from the worldly matters and going out into the materialistic world, and intensify our passion and attachment towards God, and as well as the sadhana to reach God. Today is also Saraswati Puja. Many people are celebrating Saraswati Puja, and some could be celebrating tomorrow as per the almanac they follow. So this is like the common occasion where each individual of the family brings in certain books that they want to have Saraswati's blessings over for learning, whether it's the divine or devotional books, or it's the music books, or the competitive exams books. So Saraswati, as we all know, is the goddess for knowledge and Vakshuddhi. We have heard the famous story of Kumbhakarna, where he does not offer his prayers to Saraswati and ends up after his tapasya, while uh, requesting a boon, he ends up asking for Nidra when he was supposed to be asking for Apamrityu. I mean, he didn't want any form of death. But while asking the boon, because he did not pray to Saraswati Devi resides in his tongue and makes him ask for Nidra. So we all know that. So let us offer our prayers to Saraswati Devi to bless us with knowledge and help us learn, understand, and assimilate the knowledge we are learning in this process of sadhana, and also reside in our tongues and help us do more and more of Namajapa, and help with the Vakshuddhi, so that our words and actions are purified and our words are smooth and soothing and unhurting and more truthful. With this, let us begin the chant of 32 names of Durga with the sankalpa of overcoming distresses and to experience peace and harmony. Let's begin the chant. Om Durga Durgartishamani Durga Padvinivarini Durga Machedini Durga Sadhini Durga Nashini Durga Todharini Durga Nihantri Durga Mapaha Durga Magnanada Durga Daitya Lokadavanala Durga Ma Loka Durga Matma Swarupini Durga Marga Prada Durga Mavidya Durga Mashruta दुर्गमज्ञानसंस्थाना दुर्गमध्यानभासिनी दुर्गमोहा दुर्गमगा दुर्गमार्थस्वरूपिणी दुर्गमासुरसंहन्त्री दुर्गमायुधधारिणी दुर्गमाङ्गी दुर्गमता दुर्गम्या दुर्गमेश्वरी दुर्गभीमा दुर्गभामा दुर्गभा दुर्गधारिणी ॐ दुर्गा दुर्गार्तिशमनी दुर्गा पद्मिनिवारिणी दुर्गमच्छेदिनी दुर्गसाधिनी दुर्गनाशिनी दुर्गतोद्धारिणी दुर्गनिहन्त्री दुर्गमापहा दुर्गमग्नानदा दुर्गदैत्यलोकदवानला दुर्गमा लोका दुर्गमात्मस्वरूपिणी दुर्गमार्गप्रदा दुर्गमविद्या दुर्गमाश्रिता दुर्गमज्ञानसंस्थाना दुर्गमध्यानभासिनी दुर्गमोहा दुर्गमगा दुर्गमार्थस्वरूपिणी दुर्गमासुरसंहन्त्री दुर्गमायुधधारिणी दुर्गमाङ्गी दुर्गमता दुर्गम्या दुर्गमेश्वरी दुर्गभीमा दुर्गभामा दुर्गभा दुर्गधारिणी ॐ दुर्गा दुर्गार्तिशमनी दुर्गा पद्मिनिवारिणी दुर्गमच्छेदिनी दुर्गसाधिनी दुर्गनाशिनी दुर्गतोद्धारिणी दुर्गनिहन्त्री दुर्गमापहा दुर्गमग्नानदा दुर्गदैत्यलोकदवानला दुर्गमा दुर्गमालोका दुर्गमात्मस्वरूपिणी दुर्गमार्गप्रदा दुर्गमविद्या दुर्गमाश्रिता दुर्गमज्ञानसंस्थाना दुर्गमध्यानभासिनी दुर्गमोहा दुर्गमगा दुर्गमार्थस्वरूपिणी दुर्गमासुरसंहन्त्री दुर्गमायुधधारिणी दुर्गमांगी दुर्गमता दुर्गम्या दुर्गमेश्वरी दुर्गभीमा दुर्गभामा दुर्गभा दुर्गधारिणी ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ.
Ma'am, your voice.
With this, I'd like to hand it over to Ansuyaka. I'll stop sharing and get the permission.
What is visible on my screen?
No, Akka. Now it is fine.
Now it is clear, okay? Yeah, I'm sorry, there was something else. Okay. Is the Ramayana screen visible now?
Akka.
Yeah, okay. So you can hear me also, obviously. Namaskar. Let us start. Today we are on day 6 of our Navratri Satsang. So video is not very visible. So we'll start. यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुग्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. So today we will be talking about yet another of the women characters in Ramayana, that is Tara. So in this, we will look at the incidents that revolve around Tara, and we will also see what we can learn from them. So Tara is considered as the daughter of Brihaspati, who was the guru of all the Devas. So if he was the guru of the Devas and he was wise, then how much wiser Tara must be, isn't it? Being his daughter, and that we will see as we go along. It is said that Tara emerged during the process of Samudra Manthan. So at that time, when the Samudra Manthan was going on, because they were finding it difficult to churn the ocean, the Devas and Rakshasas also had all called people whom they knew who were helpful to them, to deal with it. So these Devas, they asked Vali to come and help them. So he was a very mighty Vanara, and already we have seen in the previous story, isn't it? If you remember, when we talked about Ahalya, we said that she was the one who brought up Vali and Sugriva. So Vali came to help the Devatas, and he did a lot of the pulling himself. And at that point of time, during the Samudra Manthan, when Tara came out of the ocean, then she was given as a wife to Vali. However, Vali said that I am already married, and there is a legend which says that he was probably married to Mandodari. So that part we will not take up now about Mandodari. But Vali said, I am already married, so I cannot take Tara as my wife. Instead, I will have her wed to my brother, who is Sugriva. So that was decided, and she was the wife of Sugriva. Now, Tara is known to be very wise, calm person, very good at communication, had good thinking, ability and all that. And in fact, she knew about Vali's hot-headed nature, and she had made Vali promise in the beginning itself. Now we know the story of this Vali and Sugriva, so I will not go over it in detail. There was this mm, Asura who came there and chasing him. They went into a cave and Vali was inside, and Sugriva thought he has died because the blood came out. He closed the cave door and he came back, and he himself became the king and started ruling. And then Vali somehow finds his way back, and at that time he chases Sugriva out of their kingdom. So we know that he was very angry with Sugriva because he thought that Sugriva had knowingly done all this. So at that time, this Tara, in her wisdom, she had made Vali promise that he will never kill Sugriva. Okay, because she had a feeling something will go wrong. And later, when Sugriva got into a friendship with Lord Rama and Lakshmana, and they came there. So then, with Rama as his support, Sugriva came and began calling out to Vali, saying that come out, come and fight me, and all that. So he came out, he fought. At that time, Tara told, I have got information from my spies and from my friends that Sugriva has got some support, so it is not wise for you to go now to fight him and all that. But Vali doesn't listen to her, and instead he goes and fights. But anyway, it's okay because Sugriva is fighting, and then as decided, Rama has not shot the arrow, so Sugriva gets totally, defeated. He's beaten black and blue, and he comes running back to Rama with very little energy. Again, then he regains his energy, and Rama says, now you go fight again. I could not make out the difference between you and Vali because both of you were looking same from a distance. And this time they sent Sugriva wearing the mala around his neck, so that they can make out that the one without the mala is Vali and he will be killed. So when Sugriva goes back and calls out to Vali a second time, instigates him, provokes him, saying, come and fight. At that time, very particularly, Tara gives him very specific advice. She says, see, you have to think logically. This person, he was defeated by you first time. You chased him out of the kingdom. Then he came back. Then now within such a short time, he has again come back. That means definitely he has somebody to support him. So you should consider that. And I have heard these Rama and Lakshmana are very strong people. And already one time he has been beaten, Sugriva, but still he is coming. That means now he has a definite plan that he is going to win against you. So don't go, please don't go. She, begs him so much. But Vali just ignores her, and in his rage and anger, he goes, and we know eventually that he got killed, isn't it? So once he is killed, before he gives up this body, he tells Sugriva that, see, Tara had advised me, but I did not take her words. So you please don't make that mistake. You keep Tara amongst your, most important advisors, and she will be a very trustful person for you. Never so far, whatever Tara has done, never it has gone wrong. Never her wisdom has proved to be incorrect. So you please keep her among your advisors. And hearing of all these events that happened, and that Vali is now dying and about to depart, Tara reaches there, and she's crying and lamenting and all that, and she's so full of grief and sorrow that Vali is now dead, and she's so angry with Rama. But then, as soon as she sees Rama standing there, all she can do is she can sing his praise, and this verse is very famous. Tvam aprameyascha durasadascha jitendriyascha uttama dharmikascha akshina kirtischa vichakshanascha shiti kshamavan kshatajopama akshaha. She says, you are aprameya, you are one who cannot be, who has nobody in comparison. You cannot be determined by anyone. You are difficult to access. You are not accessible to anyone. You have conquered all your indriyas. You are conquered yourself. And you are the most supreme among all the righteous souls. The glory of yours is, unmitigated. It will never end. It is akshaya. And you are the one who has, clear vision and ability to discriminate. And you are like the earth in your ability to endure difficulties. And you have blood-streaked red eyes. So this is what she ends up praising Lord Rama. Now all these events take place. Vali also questions Rama that how did you kill me? You killed me from behind the tree. It is not right, and this and all that. Rama answers him. We will come to that a little later. Rama answers all his queries, and then finally Vali is dead, and his what you say, last rites have to be performed. Everything is done for him. And then because it is the monsoon season and it is difficult for the monkeys at that time to go out and carry out the search for Sita, so they decide to take a break of a few months till that monsoon season passes away. And Rama, because he has taken a vow during the Vanavas, he is not supposed to enter the city. So Rama and Lakshmana are sitting in the cave somewhere, and Sugriva has been made the king now, and he is enjoying, right? So after the monsoon season passes, then Rama is waiting that Sugriva will come, and now the search for Sita will begin. But they find that nothing happens. Sugriva is lost in his own world, and Rama is, kind of little angry and little upset that, see, I helped him out of his thing, but now he has forgotten his promise to help us to search for Sita. And so he sends Lakshmana saying, go and remind. But he tells Lakshmana, you do it very gently. Don't be rude and harsh with him. Very gently remind Sugriva of his promise that we have to now begin the search. So seeing this fact that Rama is upset and, a little angry also, Lakshmana flies into a rage, and he works himself up into a strong state of anger, and he will reach Sugriva's palace. Now when they hear him there, he twangs his bow and it makes such a loud sound, and from that everybody comes to know, oh, it is Lakshmana, and he's very angry, and Angada also finds out that and comes. Now at that time, who is there who is going to bear the fury of Lakshmana? So at such time also they send Sugriva, begs Tara that you are the only one who can pacify him. Seeing a woman and with your logic, and you will talk to him nicely, he will not be, able to continue in this angry state, and then we can talk to him properly. So she comes out, and then she asks Lakshmana that, what is this? Why are you so angry? What has happened? And also Lakshmana tells his side of the thing, and he's angry with Sugriva, saying he's lost in all sense pleasures, because he has seen when he comes there in the palace, he has seen Sugriva enjoying with all the women there. He's seen that everybody is busy drinking and making merry, and is feeling even more bad because my brother and me, we are here, desperate to find Sita, and these people are enjoying like this. So when he expresses all this to Tara, then she says, she uses very nice words and very nice way of talking, and she makes him understand, that don't be angry. But she does not, like, when something happens to us and if somebody is acting very angry in front of us, we say, why are you getting angry, isn't it? But Tara doesn't say like that. She uses very good logic. She says, see, even the great sage Vishwamitra, didn't he get carried away when Menaka came to him? After all, Sugriva is only a monkey. Will he not be lost in the sense pleasures? So don't be angry with him. And she, describes Lakshmana himself very nice. She says, oh, you, oh brave one, oh valiant one, oh Mahabahu, all kinds of words. So she makes him, understand that why this has happened. And then she explains that, see, it is not that Sugriva doesn't want to come and search for Sita, but we have been told by Vali that Ravana has so many asuras under him. So if we want to go and take on Ravana, then we need to have a lot of strength. So Sugriva has sent word to all the other, the baboons, the bears, the other monkeys. So armies of these monkeys are going to reach today from all places. So we were waiting for them to come, and only after they came, he wanted to come and talk to Rama. Like this, with very sweet words, with very good communication, she manages to take away the anger. And finally, she tells one thing to Lakshmana, that seeing you in this state, all the women in this Vanar Raja are getting very scared. So please, you calm down like that. So she's appealing to, his sense of chivalry also. And she says, don't get angry like that, in that way. So this was the speciality of Tara. And finally, Lakshmana, his anger subsides and the further things happen. So what we can learn from this story of Tara? We must firstly be able, we live with somebody. Then we must be wise enough to understand what are their shortcomings or what are their weaknesses, and we should be able to understand where that weakness will lead them, right? Now this is, although this is Tara and she was a woman, now this is not necessarily only for women as such. It can be for anybody. When you live with people around you, whether it's a man, it's a woman, whoever it may be, we must be able, over a period of time, most of the time we get into this state where we will only be noticing their faults, but then we will only be complaining about those faults, or we will be nagging them about it, right? But instead of that, what we should do is, with that understanding of what is the weakness in them, we should be able to find a method to guide them to change, or find a method to bring them onto the right path, or we should be able to advise them that, this is not exactly the right thing to do. Now, ultimately, whether they are going to take that advice or not is up to them. That is, of course, there. Like Vali ignored Tara's advice, but she did the best that she could. So this is what we can learn from Tara. Then we saw how, as I said, communication. She communicated with a lot of clarity. She used a lot of logic to analyze. And this can happen only when we learn not to get swayed by emotion. When something bad suddenly happens, isn't it? So whether it was Sugriva coming to provoke Vali to come and fight the second time, or whether it was Lakshmana arriving suddenly and twanging his bow. So whatever it is, they were sudden situations. So generally, what happens when it is a sudden event that happens, we tend to get so confused and we get lost and we get carried away in that emotion. And in that carrying away of the emotion, we lose our logic and our ability to reason out. And we also lose our ability to communicate in a nice way because we are so, confused. So instead, we must make a practice that we practice our way of analyzing things. We practice our method of conveying that logic, what we have thought of, to other people with a lot of clarity. And when we talk to other people, we must talk in a non-conflicting manner. We must appreciate their good qualities and talk to them. And then they will be in a better position, in a better mental state to be able to take what we are telling them. So these are all the things that we can learn from Tara. Now, there are some equally more important points for us to ponder here. I did not explain this particular thing there. When I said that Tara said this shloka, calling Rama Aprameya and all that. So what is the meaning of that Aprameya? Aprameya means somebody who cannot be known. In fact, even the Vedas say so much about Brahman, about Narayana, and finally they say he is the one who cannot be known, right? Then Rama, and she says Tvam, you are, and she's not talking to him very, with a lot of respect and saying in that respectful manner. She's saying you like this. So why she was able to say that? Because of the simplicity of Rama. In Rama Avatara, he has come to show that he's, very simple. He made friends with Guha. He made friends with Sugriva. It is said that, see, we use the word monkey as a derogatory term, isn't it? But he made monkeys his friends. He made them his everything, and he was ready to do anything for them. So he ate the fruits of Shabari. We will talk about Shabari some other day. He gave moksha to this bird Jatayu. So how simple was Rama? That is what she is praising here. Jitendriya, one who has conquered his indriyas, one who has conquered his sense organs. This Tara was supposed to be a very beautiful woman. So any man there would have definitely looked at her. But despite her beauty or whatever, Sri Rama did not even look at her. He was a Ekapatni Vrata, and that meant he had allegiance only to Sita. So he didn't even raise his eyes to look at Tara. That is why she said Jitendriya. Secondly, he had no desire. He killed Vali, and it was only to make to establish dharma there. But he had no personal interest in ruling over the Vanaras or anything like that. He made Sugriva the king, Angada became the Yuvaraja. So he had nothing to do with that. So no desire at all. So that is why she called him Jitendriya. Then she said Uttama Dharmikascha. That means somebody who does good to others, even if it causes harm for myself. So actually, through this event in the Ramayana, there are people who say that Rama did a wrong thing. He hid behind a tree and Vali had not done anything wrong to him. Why did he kill him and all that, right? So he was willing to take up that bad name also because he wanted to establish dharma. So that is why she calls him Uttama Dharmika. Then she says, your kirti is akshaya. It will never diminish. Your glory will never diminish. Why is that? Isn't it true? Till today, how many ages have passed after Ramayana? But till today, we are still talking about Rama and Ramayana, isn't it? Similarly, not only in our country, Ramayana has spread all over the globe. There are so many other places like Indonesia, Thailand, and so many other places where so much importance is given to Ramayana. They have, people who are named after characters in the Ramayana. They have places which are named after this thing. So there are so many, there is glory of Ramayana has never changed. So she was very correct in saying that. And then she says that he's having Kshatajopamaksha. That means eyes which are red. Now that red could be either in anger at Vali, or it could be red with love, with Vatsalya for Sugriva. So that is what she is describing in this. So these are all what you say, part of the Swarupa of Rama. They are all the gunas, the qualities of Rama. And that is what she has so beautifully praised in Rama. Right? Then some more things we can think about in this episode. Why did Rama kill Vali? As I said, no, Vali himself says, "You are God. You are now." The minute he was wounded, no, then he started. He was able to see the reality. So he says, "You are God. You are supposed to be Samadarshi. That means you must be impartial. You must look equally on everybody. But why did you kill me? You should have treated me and Sugriva in the same way, isn't it? But why did you kill me and why did you support Sugriva?" So the Lord explains that yes, I am Samadarshi, but I am also Mata Pita, Jagat Mata Pita. So I have to correct if a child is doing wrong. The mother is, just because the mother and father they are impartial does not mean they will not correct when it goes wrong. That is also their duty, isn't it? So if you are doing wrong, and what is it that you did wrong? The way you behaved with Sugriva, a younger brother is to be treated like a son. Similarly with Tara. Tara was actually Sugriva's wife, but you made her your wife, right? And that was totally against the code of Dharma, because brother's wife is to be treated like a daughter. So you went against the code of Dharma totally. And therefore, when you did wrong, whatever is the phala of that wrong action that you have done, you have to bear it. So that is the justification that is given there. Then we say, no, Vali, as I told, Vali gave advice to Sugriva. He said that you do this, you don't do that, and he kept praising Rama also himself. So why did that happen? How could it be? It is said that when you come close to Lord Rama, when you come in his Sanidhya, right, the arrow which pierced Vali, it caused all the bad blood of Vali to flow out. And now he became a pure devotee. And then he got the moral authority to give advice to somebody else. Similar is the case in the Mahabharata also. We say that people say that Bhishma all along he was supporting Duryodhana and the Kauravas and all that. And then finally, how did he suddenly become so this thing as to be, giving Yudhishthira advice? Why did Krishna take Yudhishthira there to get advice from Bhishma on the battlefield? Similarly, when the arrows of Arjuna pierced Bhishma and he fell down and everything, then all the bad blood is gone. Now he in the Sanidhya of Krishna, he has become a pure devotee. So now he has the authority to give advice. Similarly, even Tara scolding Rama, coming there to shout at him and rant at him, but praising him. So what happened there? She was full of anger and despair and grief and all that. And these are all part of the Rajasic qualities, isn't it? However, when she came to the presence of Lord Rama, all that Rajoguna got burned away. So when that Rajasic quality, the Tamasic qualities in us go away, then at that time we have nothing left inside except the Sattva Guna. So then she was moved to praise him. So similarly, if we want, from these things, if we want to learn, then it is that we are full of Rajasic, Tamasic qualities because we are caught up in this world and in our worldly, life. So if we want to get away from that Rajasic, Tamasic Guna, because ultimately it leads us into sorrow. So if we want to get away from that, then the easiest way to do it is to spend more and more time in the Sanidhya of the Lord, in close relationship with the Lord. And how can we do that? We keep chanting God's name at all times. Let us do all our worldly activities, but let us keep remembering God. Let us read about him. Let us listen to him. There is so much information available now thanks to the internet and YouTube, isn't it? So we can keep listening. We do all our work, we listen to some Harikatha. We keep doing all our work, we keep chanting his name. Let us read about his Leelas, keep thinking about them. The more and more we indulge in such, activities, the more easily our Papa Karmas will get burnt away. Our Rajo Tamo Guna will get burnt away. And then we will be able to make the kind of spiritual progress that we want to make. So this is what I had in mind for today. Thank you all for listening so nicely. And if anybody, there is still some 7 minutes left. If anybody has anything to say or they want to ask questions, please unmute and go ahead.
And the point that you talked about, after the arrow of the Lord Rama attacked and he became, more authoritative to give advice, I was just reminded that after he kills Ravana, he tells Lakshmana to go to Ravana and learn the knowledge and secrets from him. So I was just reminded of that as well. That's an
Yeah,
interesting
correct.
observation.
Yes. Yeah. Is there anything anybody wants to say, or if not, we will do our Kritagnata and we can stop. Nisha?
Yeah. I'll share my screen. Thank you, Akka, for yet another wonderful session. On the point that you made about being more appreciative of the good about a person, uh, one practical tip I've also heard is that, like, whenever a negative emotion arises for us, about somebody else, rather than thinking about the bad of the person and making the impression or prejudice or judgment strong about the other person, they suggest that think about the good side of the person, because everybody has a good side and a bad side. Nobody is like entirely bad. So if you think about the good side of the person, then that helps us not to think of the bad side, and that impression or the judgment doesn't happen, and it also helps us in the way we deal with the other person. So it helps us in our growth as well. Uh, thank
Very
you
true.
for thank you for all the learnings that you are teaching us, Akka. Coming to Kritanyata, let us offer our gratitude at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna and Guru for inspiring us to start and join the satsang, and pray for the blessings and grace to be upon us always. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for attending the satsang. Shri Krishna offers.
Thank you, everybody. Namaste, and we will meet up tomorrow again.